Hi everyone, welcome to this virtual R&D space specifically actually catered to all the head of department for PD4iGV, LCVP, IGV as well as LCPs about how can you actually be more effective in managing PD this department in the LCs. So the session name is going to call Operation Management, which we're going to give you a bit of holistic view what is going to happen in this department, no matter which position you are from, and how you can starting to track and synergize with them. So before we start, officially introduce myself a bit. I'm the Fassi of the space. I'm Sherbelle, your MCVP PD, which work very closely for all the PD4iGV manner with all the LCs. So the contents that we're going to cover today, mainly four part. First is what is my management scope as a head of department, especially for PD4iGV, how to actually take care of my financial team as team leader, how to be an expert functional coach for my learning partner and also school OCPD. Lastly, what is the ideal routine and tools and system for your roles that you can actually use. Okay, so if talking about management scope, if you look into what is the directions that you should go to, if you remember back in sessions that we conduct before, which is structure management, this should be the ideal structures that you should have, right? It depends on how many go in your IGV realization itself. So the entire session designed to really fit into the change of structure itself so that you can be more effective in managing your operation as a head of department for PD. Okay, so if you're following that kind of structure, there's three main parts that you need to take care of in this department, especially as a head of department. So first is definitely your own team, right? The people that is doing financial team management. Then second part is about OCPD functional management as well. So you are the functional coach. Lastly, as a HoD, you also need to take care of national network management with me as your MCVP. So this is the main role of yours. Okay, so if you look into that for your financial team, you should only focus on team standard implementation and your financial sales operation. For your OCPD, you need to take care of synergy with OCP and also OCPD R&D. Okay, and the connection of these two parts is about the synergy between you and also VP-IGV in order for you to have a sufficient IGV overview. Lastly is your national network management, which you need to actually get information or actually be in part of the commission, which come from three different touch points: commission meeting, functional one-to-one with MCVP, and lastly PD-IGV L&D in like this kind of virtual form or physical, which is conference. Okay, so for financial team management, the things that you need to know is that to synergize with your IGV is mainly to review IGV product development plan. So back in when you was in your own LTC or even planning conference, you all have like top 3 strategy for IGV, right? So how was the execution so far? What is the progress? That's the things that you need to talk with your VP IGV, or how is the project team doing so far? Second, team standard implementation. So for 2-layer structure, you need to make sure 100% team standard implementation to all your FP team in terms of one-to-one, L&D, team meeting, review, or working space. Lastly, financial sales operation as well. The entire plan execution, attending meeting, doing sales is also part of your JD. Okay, so to take note on this, your role for your team is to make sure that PD-IGV put main focus on making IGV product sustainability. Okay, which is we want to hit level 2 in the end. And then with 2-layer structure, you are able to be more focused on internal driven and external relevance instead of team management. So you can have more time to actually analyze what is the organization problem or what is the partner problem and what is the way forward in a very strategic manner when you only need to manage 1 layer of members. Okay. Third, minimize synergy layers. Okay. So you as a HoD PD, you only need to synergize with IGV and pass out all the information for your financial team to execute. So there will be no confusion about whether your director or your member need to go to IGV or synergy. No, only you as a head of department should invest time in synergize and make decision. Second, OCPD management. So to put LP and also school under OCPD, it is where your role come in to also same synergize with VPIGV to understand about what is the product development plan execution so far. And second, you need to synergize with OCP to understand about project-based updates for learning partner and school. What is happening? What's the progress so far? And then project plan finalization. So talk to your OCP, finalize your projects so that your OCPD can move forward from there. So in terms of this, you need to have a close tracking to your OCP as well. Lastly is your OCPD L&D. So from all the L&Ds that you downscale to financial partner, you also need to downscale to your OCPD PD. Make sure that you do functional coaching to them and also L&D training. Lastly, the things that you need to take note here is you need to make sure you have better project management, increase the OC team capacity, and also customer partner experience. With this sense, your OCPD need to actually embed into every single project. Their role is to also understand the projects and make sure that they customer partner experience to that. Same two-layer structure, you are able to be more project focused because you cannot actually expect OCPD have the capacity to understand all the project in a short period of time, right? Because they are new, they are just joining ISAC, trying to sort out what is ISAC and stuff. So, experience where to be more project focused could actually be more than enough to them. Lastly, you also minimize synergy layer because OCP can directly let OCPD to understand what kind of LP and school is needed for the project. They do not need to go through you as a layer to downscale the information. Then you as a PD, HoD, just need to focus on building OCPD sales capacity in a monthly basis, which is training. Last, your role in national network management, there's 3 different touch points. So for a commission meeting is to oversee the current progress, national direction, and GCP sharing from the network, okay, in a monthly checkpoint. Second, you have a functional one-to-one with me, which is for in the last week of the month, is to actually customize resources and solutions to different market reality. So it's also serves as a space for us to do review. Lastly, L&D. So there will be a lot of virtual and physical training through webinar or conference to build your team leader capacity or even functional skills. Okay, so to take note of this part is that you can always get first-hand resources from national team in terms of operation, partner management, and internal system management, for example, hotspot. So it's also helping you to oversee strategies with national team together to share resources to each other. So, with all the job skills that you need to handle as a HoD, here is actually a proposed HoD PD routine minimums that you should actually have. First, it go with a weekly basis, okay? So when it comes to first week, the things that you must have is your EBM or your EBMTM, and then your FP meeting, your one-to-one with your FP team, your L&D space with your FP team and OCPD. Okay, then lastly, your IGV synergy meeting. So I also cater different objectives for different synergy or different touch point in order for you to catch up your routine as a HoD. Okay, so usually in the first touch point, it should be EBMTM or EBM to actually review IGV progress, both youth and partner. Okay, it's not only reporting, but you also need to get information from IGV side what is happening every single project. After that, you go back to FP team meeting, which is downscaling everything from EBM, what's the progress, and how to move forward with all of their personal call to action. Okay, where these 2 parts is very important. People are asking me how about OCPD. IGV need to have the information of OCPD, or you need to downscale information through your EBM to make sure that IGV know what is the way forward for OCPD as well. Okay, then first week you also focus on one-to-one with your FP team in a monthly basis to have your PDP review, PA review, and also setting new PA for next term. And then build their monthly plan with them, review together with them as well. Then your L&D space with your FP team and also OCPD. So L&D topic actually based on the monthly focus, it can be a working space as well. Okay, so because in a monthly basis, I'm gonna have this virtual webinar and things like that. So you can actually use a space to review again the virtual webinar or test whether they really go through that. Do check the efficiency of the learning space and then directly put into a practical experience to them to work together with them. Then lastly is IGV synergy meeting. Only you and your VP IGV and your VPF need to be involved to discuss product strategies with way forward based on the operation period and the topic itself. Okay, so the routine goes on. Week 2, all the routine is the same, but the only things that it's different is you have commission meeting. Okay, so week 2 when you come to commission meeting, it's about national progress review and discussion and get GCP from that, so that you will know what's the things that is missing out. Then you can start to downscale again. Is there missing anything or you face any obstacles and you get solution from here. We should go to week 3. It back with a very operation based against. It's all about execution. EBM is still the same. FET meeting is the same. Working space again to actually finish up what is the things that it's missing based on timeline. Then IGV synergy to review again what is happening. Lastly, so week 4, it's a review week. So I would suggest you to still go on with your EBM and also FPT meeting with the manner of review, what is happening for the whole week. Then the only thing that is different here is you will have a national touchpoint again with your MCVP in one-to-one manner to review. So in this phase, we're going to do operation review and figure out what should be your next month focus together with your MCVP. Okay? So if you put into the entire month basis, so I call it as Isaac calendar. So 1 week you have 7 days. So that's the best way for you to arrange your time. Okay? So for example, first day of the week, it should be all the EBM to get first-hand update about your LCs. Okay? Then second day, you can go with your IGV synergy meeting with IGV to sort out all the things that the way forward or the discussion spaces are needed from EBM to have all the call to action as usually. And then you go to your FP team to downscale every information that you get from synergy meeting and EBM, and then they start the execution. So after that, then starting from day 3, in week 2 you have commission meeting, and then other day you can start to schedule your first week. You can start to schedule your team 1-to-1, and then other day you can just free to have your external meeting. Okay. Then if you see, the only difference is that in this last week you should have review on the last week, and then your team review or BMT review with a condition of during 1-to-1 with MCVP, we already finalized what is happening in your in the entire month, and you already sort out your next focus. So this is the ideal time for you to make sure that you can catch up your operation timeline and what is the touch points that you can leverage. So lastly, what about HoD PD tracking tools, right? I think this is something that is helping you to make sure that the entire routine and process in more effective manner. So the only tips that I can give you is use only one tracking system for all touch point. Okay, so no matter it's EBM, FPT meeting, even synergy meeting, or even review meeting, you just use one system. Okay, the system actually help you to make sure that you do project-based tracking, ensure your project quality holistically in you and also partner. And then it's also helping you to make sure that hotspot data alignment. You know, like for example, what is the data that we get from national and your local itself is different. So no, we will only use one tracker with the same data. Third, synergy alignment. Make sure that all the information that we get is sufficient enough for IGV to actually get information as well. Fourth, national routine alignment. So locally, all the systems that you're using or tools that you're using, I can actually just get information from that as a national team instead of I just ask you to create a new one. Lastly, do not separate it from IGV updates. Okay, it should come together, just like what I mentioned. It's a project-based tracking instead of IGV and PD4iGV tracking. So the proposed template is here. You can just use it, especially for all the LCPs or product head. Take note, you can just use the entire system to actually start to synergize or track your PD. So how it works is that first you will go with PBox financial income updates. First slide is about overall department progress. So you should actually abstract this data from national master tracker. Okay, because we get this data from hotspot. So do not abstract any data differently. If PD facing any data issues, ask them to talk to national team to review the data from here. All the data should only come from here. Okay, every Sunday, my EST is gonna review your data again and put in the fresh data that you can get of the week itself. Okay, so you just need to use back this thing and make sure that you follow this data with all your inferences. Okay, so second thing, after synergy, after the first data, then you go with your financial source. How was your financial doing so far, financial partner? How's your sponsorship doing so far? With all the inferences based on data and figure out way forward. Then after overall, second slide is about external review. Okay, we want to make sure that it's very holistic, right? So we go with external review. You put down all the companies that you are currently engaging here based on hotspot, how much you are actually prospecting to get from that, where are they right now. So it helps us to holistically, when I see this tracker, I already know what's the partners that's available, how much money you want to get from them, and currently are they in first meeting, are they in follow-up. So with this summarized, for the whole EB team or even your team, they do not need to go to hotspot, check one by one, but this is just serve as a summarized slides that everyone can use. With data that is ready, you go and break down into projects. So this partner is for these projects, what is the inference and what is the way forward. Lastly, after external review, you should go internal review about project update. Okay, like how many projects you are running, what is their proposal, you can track their proposal as well. What is the goal for the project, what is happening in their project. Maybe it's because of internal issues that we cannot move forward, right? So let's look into whether it's external or internal issues, and then we figure out a way forward together. It helps you as an EB team or even the LCP or product head to track thoroughly what is the progress of PD and how can you move forward from that. Then it same goes to learning partner and school engage as well. I would suggest you do not separate this part from IGV. In IGV, you can do project-based update and embed partner update into your IGV slide. For example, this tool is still holistically for entire department update, same as the first slide. You just need to abstract the data from master tracker and then come out inference. So these two parts is still fall under PD. Starting from third slide, you should go back to projects. Okay, first project, how is the partner so far? What is the inference for learning partner? Second slide for schools. Okay, so it go with project based again, so that people will thoroughly understanding what is happening in every single project that you are running instead of separate based on partner. Yeah, so other than projects, then is your NCR. So NCR go back to the same way of your financial partner. You should just break down based on your holistically overall department progress and what is happening in the current OP or new OP. Then it same goes to project based as well. How many partner perspective as well? What is happening in this partner, where are they? What is the obstacle you are facing and how to move forward? Okay, then if you want to understand the team element, you could put in the team standard implementation, get data from your PM, and then come out inferences. Your PA and commitment of the department as well. Your R&D implementation, whether your VP actually downscale anything. Then the last slide itself, I would suggest you to only have it in your money review, which is the top 3 strategies, how is the preparation so far, learning and way forward. Yep. So with this slide, I would suggest you, no matter which touchpoint you are in, EBM, their own team meeting, review, you use all the same. Then from national side, I will directly get from your EBM slides or anywhere to get all the fresh hand update instead of your PD need to actually spend another time to update all the information. Yeah, so that's pretty much the things that I want to cover. To end the entire space, I just want to give a tips for everyone. First, effective routine equal to time management. So a lot of people come to me asking me how to actually manage their time effectively, right? Okay, first step, it just makes sure that you fix your routine and your routine is effective enough for you to get all the information, progress and way forward. That's called time management. Second, be very agile and flexible as well in terms of the content itself. Okay, the list that I was mentioning there is just your bare minimum to fulfill as a HoD. Lastly, internal driven external relevance. I was telling all the PD this thing. So sometimes as a PD, you have to make sure that you get all the internal information, understand what is happening inside your organization, inside your projects, and also analyze it. Lastly, you also look into your partner, your market, what is happening, what is the context out there. Then you map it to come out what is the way forward or to understand what is the bottleneck. Okay? That's the role of PD to make sure that we can be very internally driven and externally relevant as well. Yep, so that's all from me. If you have any question, feel free to just drop me a message in Telegram, or you want to email me also can. Especially for all the LCPs or product head, if you really have any obstacle in working with your PD, you want to have more information, feel free to come to me. So for all the HoD PD, I hope it gives you a better clarity of how can you starting to manage your team in a more effective manner, especially talking about how to synergize with IGV as well. Yep, that's all. Thanks.